Hello Flosstube friends, my name is Audrey Marine. Today is Wednesday, August 26th, 2026. This is a channel all about cross stitch. Thank you so much for joining me today. I have, it's been a few weeks since my last regular Flosstube episode. Thank you so much to everyone who has been keeping up with the little videos that I've had in between, especially the Floss Palace tour, the latest one I've done anyway. It seems like that was fun for a lot of people and it was well received. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch that. But as I say, it's been a few weeks since my last regular Flosstube episode. And I do have one finish, a few whips to share. And then as we're coming up to Sampler September, I thought I would go over some options for me for Sampler September. And maybe some of you also have these charts in your stash or like, oh yeah, I do have that. I should pull that out and start that for Sampler September. So we'll go through some fun things after I have shown you things that actually have progress, things that are started, things that are whips. And so let me go ahead and just show you what is right in front of me. I ironed a couple things, but I did not iron this because it is an active whip, and by active, I mean I worked on it this morning and I'm going to work on it later today if I've got the time. This is Maria Wales Newson by Hands Across the Sea Samplers. Widely available, you should be able to get it from the Hats website as well as your local needlework shop or LNS or your favorite online shop. And this I am stitching along with a bunch of other people as part of a stitch along run by Judy Tober Hall on the Friends of Hands Across the Sea Samplers Facebook group. So this piece has been broken up into 12 assignments. So we're kind of nearing the end. I am in the middle of the August assignment, which is just this part right here. This greenery, this arch, the little bit of wording, and this row of four-sided stitch. So I started this a couple nights ago. I haven't had a ton of stitching time this week though, just with some running around and trying to take advantage of the last few days of summer, take the kids over to the grandparents' pool day, errands of my own, preparing for an upcoming trip, that sort of stuff. But I do have the greenery done. I made a small mistake over here right in the beginning. This is where I started. And I stitched all of the dark green first. And then as I was going back with the medium tone green, I was like, oh my goodness, I counted wrong. But it's okay because I actually added 3 stitches. So I'm going to complete this, continue from this point, and I'll submit my homework assignment to the Facebook group. And as long as I'm not missing anything else, it should be fine because I've actually added 3 stitches. All I ended up doing was I accidentally added a row of 3 right here. So there's an extra, 2 extra dark green and an extra medium green right here, but it doesn't affect anything too much. Instead of 9 stitches from the grass up here under the house, I'm only 8 stitches. That doesn't really matter, but looking good so far. And this 4-sided stitch for the capital letters, and then this over one, I am actually stitching with a Swassurfine. I'm using all the called for 100.3 silks, which are spooled silks like this. These are 100.3s. They're manufactured by Auvera Soie. You can get them from Hoop and Frame and many, many other shops. But this is Swassurfine. It looks the same at first glance, but it is actually thinner. This is not the called for color for the lettering. The called for color is another very dark color, and I don't believe it comes in Swassurfine. So I chose Swassurfine 2210 because 210, its 100.3 equivalent, is used elsewhere in the chart. So while it's not the exact color that the lettering is supposed to be stitched in, it works because it's elsewhere in the design. That's what I'm doing, and that's what I did as well for the lettering up here. I don't think I actually told you guys that when I showed this assignment, but that's what I have so far. I am stitching it on 46 count Lichen by Tabby Cat, and that is the called for linen. It's a dusty green gray. So over the halfway mark, definitely have more than half the stitching done. That house was over 5,000 stitches. The house and the grass underneath it, over 5,000 stitches. So August's assignment, nice and quick. If I had had a good amount of stitching time in one day, I could have gotten it done in one day. But as it is, this is going to take 3 days. Just haven't had a ton of time, but looks great. And this little needle minder, that is Feathers McGraw from the Wallace and Gromit series. I got this from, it's a Both You Threads product. Where did I get it? Hirschner's. I mean, I ordered it directly from Both You Threads, but I think it was supplied to me by Hirschner's, if you're curious about that. And then if you're curious about needles, hoops, scissors, any of that, I will link a video that I put together several months ago about all my needlework, my favorite needlework tools, and you can consult the description box for that video. Didn't want to iron that one because I was just gonna stick the hoop back in it. And I got the hoop in just the perfect place to complete that entire assignment. So I didn't want to take it off, iron, try to find it again. All right, the next piece that I have been working on, or one of the other pieces that I have been working on, is something that I started a year ago. This is Jane Wood by Maximum Cross Stitch. This is a project that was released ahead of last sampler September. It's a big old beautiful reproduction sampler reproduced by Ellen Reed of Maximum Cross Stitch here. You can get the PDF on her website, or you can get the hard copy from evertote.ca. That's what I did. And I also purchased all the called for Roxy Floss Co threads. Pretty good amount of threads in this one, but well worth it. Yeah, they're kind of tangled up. I'm pretty good about keeping my threads neat, but you know, you pull a strand out and it gets cinched up, and I'm not always fixing it as I go. Well, let me show you Jane here. This is stitched on 40 count Thornfield by Needle and Flax. Every freaking time I have to think about what it is. Thornfield by Needle and Flax. Called for, I think, is Speculoos by Roxy Floss, but I didn't have that. I didn't have a big enough piece at the time. Last time you saw this, which was probably January, I only had part of the house. I had all of this stuff up here done, but since I last showed this, I have added this dome up here, all the finials, these 3 birds on top, and then I added a lot to the house. I mean, I still have so much to go, but I added thousands of stitches to that house. Does it look like it? Oh, it's pretty. It's really pretty. I like how the fabric is showing on camera. Looks great. I did get to trim my fabric, which was nice. I was showing my son Maria Wales Newson, and he was like, man, that's big. And I like held up the whole thing, and he's like, man, that's big. And I said, well, there's still a chunk of fabric that I'm going to be able to cut off the bottom. But yeah, it's big. It is nice though when you can finally trim your fabric down to the size of the actual stitched piece with the margins on it, and kind of get rid of the excess. The verse here does have over 1 letters, and I am just using 1 strand of Roxy Floss Co thread there, and it's working just fine. I think you could definitely use cotton flosses on 46 count. It would be a little bit tighter, obviously, than it is on the 40. But if you were to go to a 46, using the cotton flosses for this piece or any other piece, if there's over 1, I would then recommend using Soie 103 or Soie Surfine for the over 1, just to make your life a little easier. But I do think that looks good. Knock that spool over. Beautiful colors. This was the focus of my last Stitch With Me video, so if you're interested in watching that, you are welcome to do so. I did have a request from a viewer that I focus in one of my next Stitch With Me videos on how to build a window frame. I don't really think there's a right or wrong way to go about building your windows. And I even responded to the person. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. It's a great idea. But I can't guarantee that I do, you know, I take the same stitch path each time, even if the windows are the same. I'll show you the back though here if you're curious. Let's get rid of all that. There we go. That's my back for the house. So you can see just by where I start and stop that not every window is built the same way, but ultimately they come out the same. Yeah. So Jane here, not going to be done before September. Oh well, ho hum. But she'll be gorgy porgy when she's finally done. Yeah. I love those birds up at the top. Pink and white. I think it's Bubble Bath and Betty White. Beautiful. Yeah, fun, bright house. Still a long way to go on Jane, but I knew it was going to take me a while. I thought I was going to finish it. I just thought it would be nice to finish it in a year. It's not like I laid out a plan for myself. Maybe if I had given myself monthly assignments, no, I would have just ignored those. Who are we kidding? Who are we kidding? All right, and the other thing that I worked on for quite a while, actually, I think I gave this almost a week, is Mary A. Williams' 1818 by Shakespeare's Peddler. This was one that I started a couple years ago. So there's the name, Mary A. Williams, 1818, Shakespeare's Peddler. Started this a couple years ago, got pretty far into it, and then just put it to the side. Not because I fell out of love with it, just because I got caught up with so many other things that were, oh my God, I got to stitch this, and then I got to stitch that, and then there's this new release. Well, then I have that one and this one, and you know, things just kind of get overlooked. Priorities change, right? But I was going through whips and making hard decisions. But I pulled, you know, I opened this up and I was like, no, I'm going to work on this. And I'm so glad that I pulled it out. Just to look at it and remind yourself, oh, that is beautiful. That's really beautiful. And then as you work on it, if you allow it time, if you give it time, you can see more progress and it becomes even more beautiful. So this one, I had all of the border that you see. I should say most of the border, because I did add a little bit of border. Well, I filled in, let me show you this. I finally filled in this funky tree. I had like 6 blocks or something left to go. I'm like, why didn't I fill those in? Well, I finally filled this tree in. I already had the deer and the dog done. I had some of the grass done. And then the next thing I did was I moved over, because I thought, if I'm pulling this out after all this time, I'm not just going to spend time working on the border. I need to give myself something fun so I get excited about this project again. So I worked on this vase. I only had a little bit left of the vase to do, so I finished that, and then I moved up. To me, this looks like honeysuckle, and I thought, oh, that's going to be so tedious to put in all these little petals here. But actually, it was really fun to do. What I ended up doing was, after I got the greenery in here, is I kind of started at the center and went out to get the petals and then came back in. And so kind of imagine how a spirograph moves. That's what I was doing. And I did that for each section. And the next part that I did, of course, I moved over and started on the house. And I am pleased to say that I finished the house and it is gorgeous. It's a big pink house. And that's what sold me on this chart in the first place. When I saw it years ago at a local shop, I thought, oh, that's such a beautiful sampler. And a pink house. Satin stitching above the windows. It's catching the light beautifully. Now, I should tell you that this is charted in Soie d'Alger and 1 Gloriana, but I actually purchased a 103 conversion from hoopandframe.com. And when I checked the availability of that just a couple weeks ago, it was still available. So if you would like to use 103s to stitch this on 46 or 56, You can get that conversion from hoopandframe.com, but it is charted in soie d'Alger, so you can also order the soie d'Alger pack. And I think Teresa provides a DMC conversion as well. She's pretty good about that. Absolutely beautiful. So I'm excited to just get this done. Hopefully this year. I mean, it's still only August, so I've got some time. That house did take a long time though. It took a long time. I mean, I really do think I put about a week into this recently, and the house took most of that time. And that roof was like the roof that would never end, but it looks so good. Oh, and that was another thing I should say. With the 103 conversion, the two colors that are used in the roof, I put in a good chunk of one of them, doing the brick, the different shingles, kind of in a checkered pattern. And then when I went to put in the second color, I could not see a difference. When you hold the two spools together, you can see a slight difference, but it just was not showing up. There was no difference to my eye on this. So what I decided to do was I ripped out that second color, and the first color I put in got to stay because I had put so much into it. And then I went through my 100.3 stash and tried to find something that would work with the color palette, offer just a subtle difference, but a difference. And so that's what I chose. So the roof here, I'm using one of the colors that's called for in the conversion, the 103 conversion, but then the other color that I'm using, I'll figure out what it is. And I know I made a note of it. You know, this was weeks ago when I was working on this. I made a note of it, and I will put that in the description box below. If you have any questions about anything that I'm showing in these videos, please consult the drop-down box below. You can access it even if you're watching this on the TV. Just, use a remote and find the description button, and then you'll see information, and you'll see links to videos that I link in the description box, but you'll also be able to read what I rated there and provide information for. You'll also be able to read the comments on the TV too, if you want to do that. But beautiful, beautiful piece. I have started the verse here. I started that ages ago when I last picked this up. I'm not using the verse that is charted. I don't know why, but I all those years ago decided I don't have to stitch what's charted, even though it's a reproduction sampler. I ended up charting part of a poem by Felicia Hemans. Thou art no lingerer in monarch's hall, a joy thou art, and a wealth to all, a bearer of hope unto land and sea, sunbeam, what gift hath the world like thee? Sorry, trying to read half of that backwards and then read it as started, yeah. But by Felicia Hemans, I just really like that poem. So I took part of it and charted it up here, and I figured out how to make it fit perfectly. But if you want to stitch this as charted, and you absolutely can do that. The verse is not over 1, it's over 2. So this is Ada friendly, with the exception of this teeny tiny TH right here. You see how it says July 28th, 1818? That TH, that is over 1. Oh, and I talked about this in a Stitch With Me video a few weeks ago. I was working on this, and I talked about the S in Williams. That is a long S. It is not an F, it's not an L, it's not a typo. That is an S. So if you guys are not familiar with the long S, just look up long S typography, and you should be able to find information on it. So when you see what looks like Jesus instead of Jesus in some older samplers, or if you see the word loss, it might look like LOFS, but there's not actually a complete cross over what looks like an F. It's a long S. So if you're curious as to why that mark is there on so many samplers, it's just a long S. And that's it. I just had a question about that, and I think I addressed it on that Stitch With Me video, but I'm addressing it here for those who did not see it. But this is stitched on 46 count lamb's wool linen by XG Design. So just a very soft, warm beige color. And I think it's a great fit for this. Not the called for fabric, but I love how it looks. I think it looks great. So getting more progress on Mary A. Williams there just got me excited again about a bunch of Shakespeare's Peddler charts that I have, and then also some that I don't have that I want. And so I'm kind of thinking that maybe 2027 could be my year to just stitch all the Shakespeare's Peddler stuff. And maybe starting with sampler September of this year. I've got some things. I was going to show you guys my finishes and I jumped right to whips. So let's do finishes. My goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, since we're talking about Shakespeare's Peddler, I'll show you this first. And then we're going to go back to more Shakespeare's Peddler later. But I got some finishes back from Faye Rigsby. Excellent finisher. You're welcome to reach out to her. I don't know if she's taking clients, any new clients at this time. That's her business. But there are many wonderful finishers out there. So if you have other cross-stitching friends who have used finishers, just reach out to them and ask who they use. But I got 5 finished pieces back from Faye. 3 of them are Halloween pieces, so I'm actually going to save them for a later video. They are so cool though, so cool. But I already packed them away with my Halloween decor, but that will be coming out sooner than I can believe because it's already almost September. All right, this is one of the 2 that I will show you today. This is designed by Teresa Vanette of Shakespeare's Peddler, part of the Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine. This chart was in this year's summer publication. And I stitched it on 46 count dark soil by XG Design. And I used my own Roxy Floss Co conversion. These are smart acrosses, so fun to stitch and so fast. I do have a video tutorial on smart acrosses. And up here, those are done in satin stitch. I did double up the satin stitch so it'd be nice and thick. And I didn't want to see the other fabric through it. But the finishing is all done by Faye. She picked fabrics from her stash. Perfect as always. And this here, like this sort of thing, I wouldn't even know to request. Like, can you do rickrack, but only half the rickrack, and put it off-centered and also along the, like, I don't know. She just comes up with these wonderful things. It looks so good. Looks so good. So I featured that in a photo on a recent Instagram post. I say recent, it was probably 3 weeks ago at this point. And this, this might be, I mean, it's one of my favorite small soft finishes to date. I love this thing. This is also by Teresa Vanette, Shakespeare's Peddler. This came out of the spring 2026 edition of Punch Needle Primitive Stitcher magazine. I stitched it on 40 count Antiquity by Number 12 Stitch Co. And I used my own Roxy Floss Co conversion. I also omitted the red border that goes all the way around in the chart, but everything else is as charted. But as I said, I just picked my own colors. I remember this is jalapeno. Off the record is this off-white. I don't remember, but I talked about this in previous videos as it was a whip. I showed all the colors that I chose for this. Now I put this button on here, and then after I got it back from Faye, I put this little bulb pin with some buttons here on the corner. But Faye, with her finishing, added these buttons on the back, and she included a really sweet note giving me a little story about these buttons. She said that when she saw mine here on the front, she was inspired to put these ones on the back, and I think it's a really lovely little touch. So pocket here, but as I say, I still have Faye's note in here. But if you can figure out how to do your own finishing, I think a pocket on the back of these little pillows is wonderful, especially if you're going to give it as a gift. You can include a little note from you to the recipient, or just allow them to utilize that as they see fit. I think it's a really nice detail. I just love this, and I love any kind of fluffy finishing. So she took she took this, this trim, I'm sure it's flat in the beginning, and then she fluffs it up as she stitches it on. Absolutely beautiful. Just love this piece. And I think they look great together. But I have this right now, it's been displayed in a tray with 4 other little pillows, 5 other little pillows. It's the tray's over there. I had to pluck this out of that, but just love this. So as we get closer to Halloween, I will show you the Halloween pieces that she finished for me as well. The other piece that I have to share is a finish, not a fully finished because it needs to be framed. I finished Sweet Moon. Oh, this was really fun to stitch, really fun. Teresa Kogut, Sweet Moon. I've been calling it Sweet Moon Santa, just in my notes, in my head, so I know what I'm talking about. Oh, that's the back. This is stitched on 40 count Carpet Bag Dark by Mason Linen. It's a very dark, dusty green gray. I took several photos of this thing. Cannot capture the fabric and the floss. You get to pick one or the other. What do you want the colors? How do you want it to be represented? Do you want the colors of the floss to be true or the color of the fabric to be true for your photos? Well, gotta make a decision. I used my own Roxy Floss Co conversion, and I share all that information on not just a previous video, but also in an Instagram post. So if you are curious about what I used for this piece, you can check that there. I will link my Christmas in July video that came out July 31st, I think it was, and all the information for this piece is there. I did use quite a few one-of-a-kind flosses. I'm in the one-of-a-kind. Oh, that's the other thing. I gotta show you guys. Okay, I know I'll do a haul in a minute, but I'm just gonna show you now. Holy crap, I got my latest one-of-a-kind floss club pack from Evertote, which is the exclusive retailer of Roxy Floss items. Look at it. Look at it. Oh my goodness. I love this so much. I did the thing where I got the little package and I cut the corner and I was like, oh, blue. Okay, blue. And then I opened it up and I was like, it's not blue. What is this? This is like electric grape. I love it. So I put it on a little black ring. I'm feeling very Halloween-y these days. Remember how I said that I was done with Halloween and I got Halloween out of my system? Yeah. I want more Halloween charts. I want more Halloween charts. I want to use these in something. I don't know what. This is Supernova. Look at that. Yeah, electric grape. I think that's a good a good descriptor. Hyper focus. So you have the blue tones in there. And Siren Song. So pretty, so pretty. And Mermaid Scales. Look at that. Oh, so pretty. So that's kind of more on the aqua side. This one is really fun. Dyer's Apron. I would love to see Carrie's apron. I bet it's ridiculous. Makes me think of Ratatouille though. Mark of a Chef. And Dirty Apron, Clean Sleeves. But I bet everything is dirty in the dye room, right? Cabbage Patch. This is fun. So I love green. I love greens. I love pretty much all greens, but my favorite greens are the acidic, yellowy, chartreuse, olive greens. And so these are really ticking my boxes here. I keep petting them. Look at this. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. Okay, so if you're not in this club and you like fun colors, you should be in this club. It's about, with shipping and tariffs, it's about $40 US every other month because they're not anymore on a monthly schedule. It's every other month. So for $40-ish, I get a whole lot of joy in a tiny little package from my favorite Canadians. So that's part of the one-of-a-kind floss club. And I use several colors from those club packs for this. The yellows mainly. Sunny Disposition, Cobb's Your Uncle, Mazed and Confused. Those were a bunch of yellows from one collection sometime last year, I believe it was. And for the letters here, the letters, of course, all supposed to be stitched in one color. All the stars were supposed to be the same color. I didn't do that. I didn't do that. I changed it up. So I pulled a few strands of the different yellows that I was using and just kind of, you know, put them in what I hoped was in a random way. Stars are different colors. All the deer are different combinations. For instance, that deer body and antlers are the same. This body and antler are 2 different colors than that first one. This deer, even though it looks like it's 2 different colors, it's actually 1. This deer, the body is the same as the one down below, but the antlers are a different color. And then again, this guy is just 1 color. I used French knots for the noses, cross stitches for the eyes, and then also down here, the wreath on the house, I stitched in French knots. And it looks so good, if I do say so myself. I really like that. It was so fun to stitch his pants. The pants may have been the most fun thing. The pants, kind of why I bought the chart. I really like the pants. So this needs to get framed. I'm gonna send this with hopefully a bunch of other things to my framer this fall, but we'll see what the budget allows. At the very least, I wanna have Santa framed so I can display him this year. Really like that one. And it didn't take a super long time to stitch. I mean, Santa has a lot of stitches in him, but it's like yellow back and forth. You gotta count for the stars of the pants, but also if you mess up one of the stars, it's really not the end of the world because it's kind of organic and folksy. I'm giving you the stitch count. It is 145 by 145. So on 40 count, it's about 7 1/4 by 7 1/4. If you did it on 32 count, it'd still only be like 9 by 9. So, but widely available chart and really fun. Okay, that's all I have to show you really, as far as whips go and finishes. Yeah, so sampler September plans. Let me first do haul because I have some. Oh boy. I have some haul. I have some Stitchy Kindness and then I have some haul. So let me do Stitchy Kindness first. Maddie of Thimbles and Threads. There we go. I did make a note. Threads and Thimbles. I'm so sorry, Maddie. I made a note and still I got it wrong. Okay, Threads and Thimbles. She is on Instagram. I will link her Instagram page below. She does not yet have an Etsy or a website, but she's hoping to get one up and running soon. She reached out to me and said, can I send you a bag? And I said, yeah, you can send me a bag. And I saw that she had flat project bags, which many of us use, but then she also had these gusseted bags. And I said, you know what? Sometimes I want a bag that has a little bit more room on the bottom so I can chuck a bunch of crap in there. So can you send me one of those? And she did. And nice big chunky zipper and nice padding. I should say it's, you know, a stiffer bag. She put some batting in here. So it looks great. So thank you so much, Maddie. If you're interested, please follow her on Instagram at Threads and Thimbles. And I'll put that right here for you so it's easy to find, but I'll also link it below. And hopefully she'll have a website up soon. The other bit of Stitchy Kindness I got was from my mother. She took a trip out to see her sister, my aunt, in Libby, Montana, and she went to this apparently really great quilt shop and had a wonderful time. Now, the quilt shop is called the Cagey Quilter, and from what my mom tells me, from what the proprietor told her, it sounds like she's going to be transitioning to online only. Well, that's great for all of us anyway, because we like to shop online, don't we? But Mom, when she was there, she got some quilt fabric, she got some other things, but she sent me a photo of a display of some beads, and she said, would you like any of these? And I said, oh yeah, I would like red, green, and brown. Well, she sent me red, green, and brown, but also several other colors. So what I'm talking about are these little packs called Bead Gravy. This is the Rich Paprika collection, and it's just a collection of seed beads in different sizes. We've got bugle beads and other shapes. And this is the green that I requested. This is green pesto. And I thought this would be really great for embellishing my gingerbread house needle book from Stacy Nash. So that's why I specifically asked for the green one. And then the brown one that I requested here is Amber Chasseur. And these are put together by Hoffman Originals. And I wonder, is that the same Hoffman that distributes cross stitch charts? Maybe not. I don't know. But I know I hear Olivia B of Hillside Rookery saying, got these from Hoffman. And so that's why I know that name. But if you would like, if you're interested in any of these, I will link the KG Quilter below and you can check out her website and maybe get yourself some bead gravy or some quilting supplies. My mom said it was a great shop and she was so happy she got to go there. They're located in Libby, Montana. There's like nothing else there. This is Strawberry Puree. This is Dark Blueberry. This is Metallic Demi-Glace. Oh. Blackberry Violet. I really like these bugle beads that are kind of like a peacock color. So pretty. And then this one, my mom was like, well, I didn't know about that one, but this is one that I opened up and ooh, I really like that. Minty Pastels. No idea what I'm going to use these for, but it's fun. And they hang so nicely on my pegboard in my closet. If you're interested in seeing that, it's in my latest Floss Palace tour video. And I show you how I organize my various cross-stitch supplies and then also show you the different things that I have on display around the room. Because every once in a while, I get a question. Not even a question. It's more like a demand that I decorate the wall behind me. I have explained this before. This area that you see is an awkward spot to decorate. It's not the center of the wall. It's not even like centered upward. So if I put stuff here for you guys to see so that I had a backdrop, it would look really weird to the actual humans living in the space. So if you want to see what I have on display, just watch the tour video. I do have several things on display and they're all so pretty. It's so nice. And thank you so much for your kind comments on that video. I really appreciate it. It seems like people had fun watching it, so that's good. Okay, and that's my stitchy kindness. Now my haul. Well, what happened was I got excited about Shakespeare's Peddler and I was watching somebody's video and she showed this. And it's from an event that Teresa Vanette hosted earlier this year, but you can get this directly from kittenstitcher.com. That is Teresa Shakespeare's Peddler's website. So it's exclusive to that website right now. In a year, I'm sure you'll be able to get it from, you know, any of your favorite shops. But I gotta have that right now. So I ordered it right now. And I got it. This is the Four Seasons. Yeah, so she designed this for the Allentown, Pennsylvania event, March 27th through the 29th of this year. And of course, you could stitch this all together or in 4 individual pieces. You could, you know, frame them in 4 individual frames or have them finished into little pillows. I would like to just go ahead and do this all on one piece and have it framed. I really like that. And then of course, I think I'm gonna stitch it on a 40 count and use Roxy Floss for my stash. I was gonna start this, I don't know, like a week ago or something. And I was like, no, I'll wait for my next installment. Well, I don't think these grape colors are gonna work in this, but I kind of think this Cabbage Patch will work for this border. I really just want to use these. You know, you get excited about colors. I don't know what to do with it, but I just want to touch it. I just want to see it. So, really like that one. And then of course I couldn't travel alone. So I bought this. I finally did it, guys. I bought something I already had. Okay, so we'll just get into my other Shakespeare's Peddler charts here that I have in my collection. I didn't have this, but I had this in a larger piece. So let me find where it is. You know, I watch so many, like Brenda, I love you so much, but boy, you buy a lot of duplicates. And I'm like, how does she not know would she? Okay, I know why she doesn't. Why so many people don't know what they have. It's because you are shown something a dozen times, 100 times. And so your memory has a hard time figuring out if you saw it in a store, if you saw it online, if you saw it in your own closet. So I get it. But I have been so good about not buying things. Well, guess what? I did it. I finally did it, guys. Look. Oh, well. But it will be easier to stitch this off of one large, because I opened this up. I was like, well, I could give this to I'll eventually give this to somebody, but I'll show you see? It's all color on one piece of paper, so it will be so easy to stitch. So it's no big deal. It's no big deal. Okay, so I got those 2 charts in the mail, and I'm just going bonkers over Shakespeare's Peddler. So then I pull out the Shakespeare's Peddler pieces that I already have in my collection. And I'm not going to show you all of them. I have some smalls as well that are not duplicates for things that I already have. But there is this spring sampler fragment and summer sampler fragment. There are 2 more, obviously, in this collection. I just have these 2. These are my favorite from them. These are stitched on Dark Soil by XG Designs, which is this same fabric. And I would prefer a 40 count because this is 46 and it was tricky. It just took some time. It took some really good lighting, but it is a beautiful color. Love it. So, and I have plenty of that fabric. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and stitch these on that called for fabric. I did start this one, but I was doing my own 103 conversion. No idea what I picked. So I think I need to start over. It's okay. So I already showed you this. This is Natural Beauty, Elizabeth Hannell, 1840. I think the Attic did a silk conversion for this. It's stitched in, you can do it in DMC or a collection of sampler threads and Classic Colorworks. Very pretty, muted. One real possibility for Sampler September is Marianne Mingay. I bought this at the same time I bought Mary A. Williams from Persnickety Stitchers in Zionsville, Indiana, about 45 minutes away from me. And I actually have this one kitted up. I'm still missing a Silken Colors and 2 Soie d'Alger, but I have most of what I need. I have what I need to get started. The called for fabric on this is 40 count light hazelnut, which is that. And that looks darker than the photo. Of course, it always the photo looks lighter than the actual fabric. So I don't know that I'm gonna go with the called for fabric. I do happen to have like the perfect little piece of fabric. This 40 count light hazelnut I have used for so many different things, and what I have left here will perfectly fit this piece, but I may go with something lighter. The problem is though, is that I want a 40 count because of the Soie d'Alger and the NPIs and the Silken Colors. The NPIs, the Silken Colors and the Soie d'Alger, very puffy, and I think really need to be on a 40 count. I don't have big pieces of 40 count. I have small pieces of 40 count because I keep using them for smalls and cutting into them. So I could use Valley Forge for this because I have a giant piece of Valley Forge and I'm only going to use just over half of it for that, what's it called? Carriage House Samplings, Hawk Run Hollow. Lord. So this is a real possibility as a start for Sampler September, simply because I could start with what I have here. I could use that fabric. Yeah. Another one I'd really like to stitch someday is Sarah McGregor's sampler, The Lord's Prayer by Shakespeare's Peddler. It has a lot of over 1 letters, and I just really like stitching over 1 letters. And just cute little motifs, two little ladies, some birds, flowers, and a very simple strawberry border. Nice. Yeah, like that one. And then this is an older one. Copyright, no, it's only copyright 2022. Then why does it seem older? Was Teresa doing booklets like this? This is, Cathcart Colquhoun, 1785. And this takes Weeks Dye Works, Classic Color Works, and Sampler Threads. So I think I would maybe do a Roxy Floss Co conversion or a 103 conversion. I'm not sure. Lots of reds and greens, a little bit of dusty blue. Like that one. This one is very small. 138 by 130. So on a 40 count, it's only 6 3/4 by 6 1/2. Really little. Lots of Smyrna crosses in the border around here. That would be fun to do. Morris hates this because it's asymmetrical. So he was in here and I had all these pulled out and I was like, what do you think I should start next? And he really like looked through them, but boy, did he have some things to say about each of them. Anytime there's like a border that's off, he's like, why did they do this? Why did you do this? Like, it's a reproduction sampler. He's like, but you could have fixed it. Okay, kid. So this is another one that he absolutely hated. I think he thought the basket was kind of cool, but he hated this. He's like, why didn't she fix it? So, but I really like this one. This is similar in theme to Elizabeth Grice, which I started. That's a piece by Fox and Rabbit that I got from Sampler Symposium, January of this year. I started Elizabeth, have a nice chunk done on her. And so I didn't need this, but I ordered it, this market from Greta at Stitchwork Design Co. And I just love it. More muted than Elizabeth Grice, but has basket, these two baskets on the side, birds, very similar. But I love the black and white stripes here with all the satin stitches. So again, I don't have that kitted up, but I want to stitch that. This one, I don't know what fabric I was going to use, but I have the Roxy Floss Co conversion. They've done a conversion for this and I have all the threads. It's a lot of truffle. I remember that. It's a lot of truffle and a lot of juniper. This is Two Skinny Dogs, Martha Mulder, 1859. When Morris was looking through these, he really liked the little dogs. He likes funny little dogs. But I don't think he cared for the hearth and he said that the house was weird. But I like the house. It is a weird house. I will admit that it is a weird house, but I do like this piece. Oh, Lisa Manton, my framer, she has stitched this and she stitched it on a really dark piece of fabric and it looks so cool. So now I'm reminded of that. Maybe I'll stitch it on a dark piece of fabric. I don't know, this is all possibilities. But at least that one, Martha Mulder, I do have threads for it. Okay, and this is where we go a little bonkers. I didn't buy this recently. I bought this over the winter. This is the Checkerboard House Sampler Eliza Gagin. Sorry. 1842, Shakespeare's Peddler again. This is massive, but it's so pretty. It's so pretty. And good news for people who hate over one. There is no over one. There's no over one, and there are no specialty stitches. But you could add some. You could. Stitch count is 258 by 358. It's huge. On 40 count, it's going to be 13 by 18, and on 46, it would be, of course, smaller than that. I purchased, oh my God, I purchased the chart from the attic, and I also got the luscious 103 pack from the attic. Oh my God, it's so pretty. Yeah, look at that. Checkerboard House Sampler. So pretty. Yeah, I think the house is going to be like this. I haven't looked into it yet. But I wasn't crazy about the fabric that was used. I got to see the model at the attic, and it's stitched on Cow Fodder by Dames of the Needle, which is a really greenish yellow kind of fabric. And when I was pulling stuff out recently, like the last week or so, I found that I had already, past Audrey, put a piece of fabric in here, and it's just beautiful. My only slight hesitation with using this particular piece of fabric is that it is a 56 count. And while I think it's perfectly fine and wonderful, a great stitching experience to use 103s on a 56 count, there's a lot of dent stitching in here and things can kind of get a little bunched up, but because I use a hoop, it shouldn't actually be problematic. And I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna go ahead and go with this piece of fabric because it's beautiful. This is Maple Bar 56 count, and it's so pretty, so pretty. Now, if you're familiar with Coffee Stain, that is really, really dramatic. Actually, maybe would be closer to the cow fodder, which is the called for. Pyrite would also be a really good option. Pyrite, everything looks good on pyrite. But this Maple Bar is just perfect. And this piece that I have here is going to be plenty big, because this is just half. I have it folded right now for you guys. This would be plenty big for that checkerboard house sampler on 56 count. And it's just gorgeous. So let me show you the silks with that. Oh, I love that. Okay, yeah, we gotta do that. Maple Bar. So even if you don't want to use 56 count, I would highly recommend Maple Bar. One thing that I had considered for this one months ago was Alpenglow. Jody sent me her new colors when she released Alpenglow, Mica, and Sepia. And I thought, wow, the Alpenglow, it's a little weird. It's like pinky, purple, gray. What is it? I don't know. She doesn't know how to describe it. None of us know how to describe it. And I actually had that in here for a while, I remember, but ultimately I pulled it out. I thought, you know what? I really just want the pinks and the reds to shine, and I don't want them to have to fight the fabric. So this Maple Bar is, I think, the perfect option. Oh, it looks so good. It will look so good. So Maple Bar is what we're going with. Yes, I have convinced myself of that. 56 count. I like stitching on 56 count, and I'm gonna do it in while I can. I don't use magnification, but I don't stitch on 56 count in low lighting. I stitch on 56 count during the day when I have a lot of natural light and a lamp. But as of right now, I don't have to use magnification. I am very lucky there. So, but if you have to use magnification, don't feel bad about it. Just make sure that you protect your work by covering your lens, your magnifier at the end of every stitching session, because they can start fires. So make sure you take care of that. Okay, where we went bananas was so the Attic posted that they had some of these kits available and were now selling them. I don't know why. I don't care. This was part of the Autumn of Abundance retreat last November, I believe. This is another Shakespeare's Peddler piece. And normally charts will be released, to John Q. Public, as our friend Laura says, 12-ish months after a retreat that has featured it as an exclusive. But the Attic, for whatever reason, they said we've got some kits and they're selling these now, but once the kits are gone, they're gone. And then later the chart will be released. Well, I went ahead and just got the kit because I wanted the Attic's 103 conversion. Look at these colors. Now it did come with the called for fabric, which is natural linen. I don't care for this. This is not my favorite. So I called and I said, can you replace it with literally anything else? And they said, no, we're not breaking up kits. Well, guess what? I bought it anyway. I got the fabric though in 40 count because I thought it would be easier to offload. So in my next D-stash, whenever that's going to be, I'm going to put this up for sale. Unless one of you really wants it, you can send me a message and make me an offer. But I'm not going to use this. I have used natural for, I think, 3 pieces, and it works in that whatever you put on it looks good. Like the colors shine, especially really bright, vibrant colors. I used it for a small Halloween piece by Just Nan, and the orange and the purple and the lime green, they jump off of the fabric, but I just don't really care for it. So I'm gonna pick something else. I'm gonna pick something else for this. Probably go with something a little lighter, a little creamier, and I think it'll be great. One thing I thought about doing, I'm gonna stitch the whole thing. I love this mess of stuff here. But this, how cute of an ornament would that be with the little cardinals here? Oh my goodness. I love cardinals, and so we're in a little neighborhood, but then off of the neighborhood is a street that gets us to, you know, the rest of town. And every once in a while when I'm driving down that street, I will see either the male or the female cardinal. So I assume it's just like this one couple that lives in a bush somewhere along that street. And every once in a while I'll see one of them zipping around, and it just brings me so much joy. So I want to stitch those beautiful little cardinals on their funny little basket and make that into a Christmas ornament. Love that. Look at that big weird house. That's going to take forever. And I hate making windows, but I love houses. I love stitched houses. Hate making windows. Yeah. But you got to do it. Necessary evil, right? Yeah. Okay. So those are my Shakespeare's Peddlers. It's a lot. And then I was texting with some friends, and one of them was working on Christmas 9 patch, also by Shakespeare's Peddler. Now that's an exclusive from Stitches Unlimited, I think. I have not ordered that. You know, way to be strong, Audrey. But it's on my wish list. And the piece that Teresa designed for summer school of this year at the attic, I love that. So I'd like to get that when it's released next year. And then, and the piece that she designed for Stitch Camp at Country Sampler just, what was it, a couple months ago or something? I lost my mind. I love the building, little scissors that she put in there. She packs so many little cute motifs into a piece, and I just love it. So reproduction samplers, original designs, big things, small things, things that climb on rocks, you know, Teresa's got it all. So if you don't have any Shakespeare's Peddler charts in your collection, I advise that you change that and pick something out. But besides all of those wonderful options for Sampler September, I am also considering starting Isabella Henry by Hands Across the Sea Samplers. This is an exclusive to Hobby House, and I got the called for 103s because there are only 9 of them, so it was just easy for me to just pop that in the cart as well. Got that. The thread count here, or stitch count, excuse me, is 180 by 256. Not huge. I plan to stitch it on 46 count, so it'll be about 8 by 11. And it does have running stitch and eyelets. I love stitching eyelets, and I haven't done those in a while, so that'll be fun. I also have a tutorial on eyelets if you're interested. Another thing that I did here on my Flosstube channel is recently I got a request from somebody who was like, I want to watch more of your videos all at once. Okay, can you put things in a playlist? So I have created 2 playlists. One is just for tutorial stitch with me's, like covering specific stitches, smarter crosses, eyelets, over one, stuff like that. And then the other playlist is just stitch with me. So seriously, just me jabbering on about whatever nonsense is in my head that day and showing you what I'm working on. And then another thing that you can do for my channel or any other channel that you like on YouTube is you can go to the channel homepage, and you should be able to see a button that says play mix. So it'll just play a random, you know, collection of their videos. And Isabella Henry is stitched on linen, colored linen. That is the color linen by Weeks Dye Works. And I have this beautiful piece of Eleanor's Ivory from Swan Bay Fabrics. So I think I'm going to use that. Not modeled, there's no variegation or anything. We're just gonna let these colors do their thing on that fabric, and I think it'll look great. And the last piece that I have, and you know, apologies for all the crinkle, but last piece that I have considered for Sampler September start is Anne Wildman's work, 1839. Got this kit from the attic. It is only available from the attic and is, I believe, only available as a kit. I got the Soie sur Fin and the 56 count fabric. It is kitted up with a Lakeside 56 count vintage light exemplar, and these are the beautiful silks. So we've got a lot of muted neutral tones here with a little bit of a, you know, pop of red and pink, and then this dusty aqua blue. Really like that. I mean, it has a zebra, a weird zebra, but it does. And a deer. And I don't think this is huge. It's 257 by 215. That's not bad. I know my friend Stitch and Gem is going to start Anne Wildman as well as the Checkerboard House for Sampler September. I think she's got some other things that she wants to start as well. Who knows what I'm gonna do? Not gonna make any good decisions. Start all the things. But I'm excited. I'm excited about Sampler September. I feel in the last couple months like, oh, I really haven't made any progress on any big things. And I know that's because I've been spending a lot of time on small things, and I have a lot of small finishes, and that's been wonderful. My Christmas tree will thank me for it this year. But I'm missing the big projects. I'm missing spending a week on a house. That was really fun, actually. So I'm excited to do that and get back to it. Well, I just want to say thank you again for everyone who's tuned in, has, you know, whether it's from the beginning or somewhere along the way. This here now is actually episode 49, and I have something really special planned for episode 50. So I hope you come back for that one. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, okay. Well, if you have any questions, please check the description box below. As I said, I put a lot of information in there, links to applicable videos and product pages from my favorite online needlework shops when necessary. And then also I put information on like what I've shown you today. You can also follow me on Instagram at StitchStitchBead. You can leave a comment here or send me a message over on Instagram if you prefer to get a hold of me that way. But thank you so much. You can expect episode 50, something really special, sometime in the next couple weeks. I'm hoping early September before I go to Hobby House for the event there around, it's September 19th, 20th. I know it's my husband's birthday weekend, but he's working anyway, so it's okay. It's okay. So hoping to get episode 50 out before I go to that event, and then I'll have lots to tell you, I'm sure, after I get back from that. But thank you so much for watching, and very happy stitching.